Yes, indeed. Ahsoka ratings, not that great. This show that they went all in on in its second week of release wasn't even in the top 10 in streaming. Not even in the top 10. Look at this. Getting beat by, Big Bang Theory, SWAT, Coco Melon. You're not invited to my bar mitzvah. NCIS, Grey's Anatomy, Bluey. Who is Aaron Carter? One Piece. And of course, Suits. You got to go to original programming. Ahsoka's fifth in originals. Had about a 50% drop off from that first week. Again, kind of expected because not as many episodes were released, but it's a worse fall off than we've seen from a lot of other Disney Star Wars shows. And it just confirms that Ahsoka is not this game changer that they really were hoping it would be. In fact, it's drawing less interest than a lot of other things they put out on Disney Plus.
And it was never going to be. It was never, ever, ever going to be what they wanted it to be. And all that took was self-awareness to understand that. And I feel like a broken record at this point in time to just continue to say, like, Ahsoka was never supposed to be the character that leads the entire franchise. They wanted her to be, but the reality told you that that is not who she should be. She should never be that. She never was going to be that. And there's been never any indication to show you that she would be that. She's been a very popular character within the small group of people that have enjoyed the Clone Wars and Rebels. And that's fine. That doesn't take away from anything. There's nothing wrong with being a popular character within a small group of people within full context of the bigger franchise. Obviously, that's much more popular, but to elevate her to try to become this thing that, first of all, being alive at a time frame or a timeline she shouldn't be alive in, and then trying to carry the banner of something that she was never equipped to be, it was never going to work. You can't just force these things. It has to happen because the audience wants it. And the audience has never shown that Ahsoka should be this type of character. This is just nonsense, man.
Dave Filoni's fucking woke feminist. That's what he is. That's what he always has been. You can see it come through in the shows that he produces. You can see it when he's out there speaking to women's groups. You can see it in what he says behind the scenes at Lucasfilm and the Rise of Skywalker.
But would you say that? But would you say that the Clone Wars was woke feminist garbage?
I don't think that the Clone Wars solely, but I think when you start to look at when you take that in combination with Rebels. And you start to see, wow,
Rebels was more. There were more elements that you would show in Rebels for sure.
Right.
You could see some of the beginning pieces to that puzzle in Rebels for sure. I don't think there's anything in Clone Wars that would lead you to believe that was the case. But in Rebels, 100% that there's a lot. There's some evidence that that's the direction it's going in Rebels. Some.
Yeah. When you start to see kind of, in some of the later seasons of Clone Wars, the focus on Ventress a little bit and kind of trying to make her into this, strong female who had to leave for this and was kind of victim of I didn't like some of the ways they decided to portray Ventress towards the end and what they've done with her in Disney canon and stuff like that. Because that was a character that existed before that they decided to adapt in the Clone Wars and things like that. But I think when you start to combine that with things when Dave Filoni is free and has his own willpower to do whatever he wants, like Rebels, you start to see what we've seen.
I would say just pretty much anything without George Lucas involved. You know what I mean? Like that's really what it comes down to. And what we're seeing with Filoni is without George guiding him and being there to oversee stuff, he is a woke feminist propaganda filmmaker. He just is.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't seen Ahsoka, but I've heard. How woke is Ahsoka, the show? How woke is it?
So one of the things you're left with are a lot of the characters are just women, right? And that's what you had your famous reaction when we did an Ahsoka trailer reaction.
Yeah, every
fucking person
was a woman.
But to be fair, if you're going to do this story, Rebels Season 5, basically, well, Ezra's missing, Thrawn's missing, Kanan's fucking dead. So you're kind of left with a lot of women, that are involved in the story. Yeah. But at the same time, the way that, say, Hera interacts with people, especially the villainous male senator, and the type of language she uses, there's a lot of intersectional feminism when you look at the storytelling of Ahsoka. More than anything, I think two things. People are having problems connecting to these characters because they don't know why they should care about them if they didn't watch Rebels or Clone Wars. And two, it doesn't seem like much is happening through 7 episodes so far. And to be honest, as much as people may have, jerked off to the Anakin episode, I think people at this point are like, I guess that was cool, but man, it would have been nice to see some more plot advancement or something happen instead of just this thing where Ahsoka, deals with her own inner demons again about Anakin.
I don't know how anyone that loves George Lucas's Star Wars, I don't know how you're finding enjoyment from Disney Star Wars as a whole. There might be little things that you've enjoyed here and there, but as a whole, the entirety of it, I don't understand it.
Yeah, so I think there's things that you can, pick out and enjoy, whether it's a character that you care about, or a cool lightsaber action. Not that there's been a lot of them, but seeing Hayden come back, I think that was a cool thing.
It was cool in
Like from the
Obi-Wan, or at
outside
least it
looking
should have
in,
been.
right? It's
Yeah.
like that's cool, and seeing some of the behind the scenes stuff, how excited he was, and even him and like the stuff for Obi-Wan, even though Obi-Wan was a dumpster fire, seeing these interviews with him and Ewan talking about their history together, talking about their times in the prequels and stuff like that is cool and interesting. There's some people that can get invested in seeing what they're able to do with the volume, seeing what they're able to do, bringing some of the practical effects into Star Wars, like they've tried to do with some aspects of The Mandalorian. But all in all, you need to really reach for those things to find any enjoyment out of that. And then when you step back and look at it, you realize, wow, this is really fucking dead.